It's mailbag time here on Bears Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Use hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions on the show, and we'll go through and answer as many as we can. No Super Chats yet. If you Super Chat, you can jump the line. All right, I thought this said something else for a second. Summer and Jason asks, do you think Elijah Hicks is going to turn up? I think that was a nice late pick. Yeah, so the 7th-round safety out of Cal who missed a lot of the offseason program with an injury. I think he's on the roster bubble. He needs to get healthy. Hopefully he'll be healthy for camp and show a lot during the preseason to earn a roster spot. I think he's got some potential as a depth player and a special teams guy, maybe starting potential down the road. We'll see, Summer. I'm keeping an eye on that one. Joseph Albano, who do you see having a better season, Roquan Smith or Travis Gibson? Roquan Smith. And that's not to say I don't like Travis Gibson, because I think Travis Gibson's a hell of a young talent and had a great second season last year. I think he'll have an even better year this year. But Roquan Smith is a fringe all-pro player. Travis Gibson is a nice young piece, but he's had one pretty good NFL season. Roquan's been really good the last 3 years. So I'll take Roquan, but I do think Travis Gibson's going to take that next step and establish himself as a premier pass rusher. Larry Lapper with the $2 super chat. How long did it take you to realize Mitch was a bust? Trubisky, honestly, midway through 2019, Larry, because in 2018, everybody's like, oh, man, he showed all this promise. Like, yeah, he showed some things in 2018, but let's be honest. That was just an all-world defense. And then Mitch was just kind of the taxi driver, right? Just don't screw it up, make smart decisions. He never really took over a game. I know he had that 6-touchdown game against the Bucs, whatever year that was, 18 or 19. But I think midway through that 2019 season, obviously he had that collarbone. I was like, he's not taking a step forward. Not only is he not taking the next step, he's actually going backwards. And that when you see a young quarterback start to go backwards, that's a red flag, because you should be improving every year, at least through your first 3 or 4 years. And that didn't happen with Mitch. So I guess on that timeline, Larry, I'll take 2017 out of it, as he started about half the year or whatever it was. A year and a half in, midway through that 2019 season, I was like, the Bears may have a problem here, which is why they traded for Nick Foles in 2020, which that was obviously stupid as well. Bubba Behrman, do you see Ryan Poles making any more trades before training camp? I think the most likely would be trading something away. Like, we're still on Robert Quinn watch, right? Like, Robert Quinn remains a question mark. Is he going to, be at training camp? Does he want to be a part of this team? Will Ryan Poles trade him? What's his trade value? I think that is a trade that I still could see happening. If the Bears trade for something, I don't think it'll be anything major. Like, I don't think they're going to go trade for Orlando Brown or DK Metcalf or something like that. I think it would be something minor at this point. So outside of Robert Quinn trading him away, that obviously would be a big trade. So we'll see. I think it's possible, but outside of Robert Quinn, I don't think anything major would happen. Will Robert Quinn get traded? What do you guys think? Type T for trade, type K for keep. Pen comment on today's show. Let us know down in the comments. Larry again, so how long will you give Justin realistically? It's hard to say, Larry, because the reason, Mitch, got that full, I gave him a full year and a half. Number one, it was in the same offense. He played under Nagy in 18 and in 19. And sure, Nagy had his shortcomings, don't get me wrong. You're hitting the reset button here. Like, I don't know how much you can tangibly take from Fields' rookie year. He showed flashes. He showed some struggles. I mean, I'm giving him at least this whole year, Larry. We'll see beyond that. If it's a really bad season, maybe I'm ready to draft a quarterback next year. If it's up and down again, I'm probably saying, okay, 2023, it's make or break time, which that's kind of what it was in 2020 for Mitch. It was, I was kind of out by then, but he had the opportunity to still be the guy, and obviously it didn't work out. So I'd say all of this season, Larry, potentially into 2023, kind of depends on how this year goes. Michael Guzman, what's more likely, splash trade for a nose tackle, offensive tackle, or no trades at all? I'd say most likely is no trades compared to a splash trade. That would be the most likely. Now, out of those two, I would say offensive tackle would be more likely, but I think no trades is more likely than a big trade for a nose or a offensive tackle. So that is how I would answer that question, Michael. Keep using hashtag Bears down in the comments to get your questions in. From Zach, is the center JC Tretter still a free agent? If so, why don't we pick him up, slide him to the outside for another O-lineman. I think you mean slide him to guard. He's not going to play tackle. You could do that. Now, I think if you were to sign Tretter, you'd play him at center and move Lucas Patrick at guard, but they seem content with Patrick as their center. I still have big question marks about right guard. Is it going to be Sam Mustipher? Is it going to be Zach Thomas? Someone else? I'd go get somebody, but that's something to watch out for during training camp, the offensive line. Now, if you want to support Bears Now, there's 2 easy ways to do it. You can, of course, subscribe here on YouTube. We're at 48,000, almost 49,000 subscribers. Or, and I should say, go follow us on Rumble, rumble.com/Bears Now. Trying to get to 800 followers. We're at 782, just 18 away. Give us a follow over there, talking about the Bears on that platform as well. 2 ways to support: subscribe on YouTube, follow on Rumble. Help us out. It really makes a difference. Tyler Smith, could N'Keal Harry start this season? Start is a kind of a loose term for receivers. Let's just say 3 receivers start. We got the depth chart here. We can go to the wide receiver depth chart, Tyler. It's just, I've got him penciled in as wide receiver 4, but keep in mind, this is very loose. I mean, after Darnell Mooney, I really do think it's up for grabs. Now, Pringle's going to make this team. Velus Jones, they're locks to make the team. But what their roles are, I don't think that's defined yet. I do think Pringle's got the inside track to be the number 2 guy. Velus Jones is that kind of, do it all, move around the field type of guy. But N'Keal Harry could have a chance to move up here. Equanimous St. Brown, Tajay Sharp. I don't think David Moore is going to be in the mix. Dante Pettis, we'll see. Yeah, in a 3 wide receiver set, could he start? Yeah, he could be that 3rd guy. I think it's possible. Noah Stofko, do you think Eddie Jackson will bounce back this season? Yeah, I had him as a bounce-back candidate. If he doesn't, he'll be cut next year. This is a make-or-break year for Bojack. So I think there's a good chance. I think drafting Jaquan Brisker to play strong next to him should help because that's the first true box safety Eddie's played with since Adrian Amos. So if he doesn't, then maybe he's just cooked. Maybe he's done. I don't know. I do think he'll bounce back. How much will he bounce back? That remains to be seen. Lil Monty, appreciate the $5. Could Jaquan Brisker, speaking of Brisker, develop into a top 5 safety? He was my favorite player heading into the draft. Happy to see him playing a Bears jersey. I think it's possible. He's got the tools. He's a hard-hitting, strong safety that can also cover. That's a good combination. He can run. He can read quarterback's eyes. He's good in run stoppage. So, I think it's, if you want a bit of a hot take, I think it's possible by the end of this season, Jaquan Brisker's the best player in this Bears secondary. I think it's possible. I'm not saying it'll happen. You got stiff competition there. Jalen Johnson, fellow rookie Kyler Gordon, and Eddie Jackson as well. But I think Brisker's got all the tools to be a really, really special defensive back. All right, a bit of a random just demographic question here. How old are you? Every once in a while, I try to gauge how old the audience here is at Bears Now. We have some analytics that tell us kind of the different groupings of age out there for our audience here on YouTube. But I'm curious, are you a teenager? You've been a fan for a while? You in your 60s or 70s? I just want to know how old our Bears Now audience is. So if you don't mind telling me, of course, you don't have to share if you don't want to. I'm 28 if it makes you feel better. I'll share my age. But let us know if you choose to do so down in the comments. Jack with the super chat. AB, I feel, would be a great wide receiver to pick up this offseason. He is definitely a hothead, but the upside to having a true number 1 for Fields is worth it. Yeah, I don't want Antonio Brown. It's not worth it. Appreciate the SEO juice, but I don't want AB. So FAB in the comments. We don't need that negative energy in this locker room. Nick says, go get DK, Quinn, and a 2nd and 3rd for him. Oh, so you're saying for a Quinn and a 2nd and a 3rd. The problem with you guys, and I don't blame you, I understand what you're saying, but the idea of, trade Robert Quinn and a pick or 2 for DK, if you're trading DK and you're Seattle, why do you want a 32-year-old pass rusher in Robert Quinn with $50+ million on his contract? Why would Seattle want that? It takes 2 to tango. Sure, if you put it in the Madden trade machine, it would probably work, but this isn't Madden. If Seattle trades DK, they're tanking. Okay, they're trying to get younger, get more picks, so they could get better offers than this. They can get a first rounder from a team and probably more. So I don't think that's realistic. Jonathan Shepard, does Cole Kmet exceed 750 yards and 7 touchdowns? I think the 750 is definitely possible. He had 611 last year, again, in a bad offense. 7 touchdowns, that'd be a leap because he had 2 as a rookie and 0 last year. Now, I think a lot of that is the play calling, force-feeding Jimmy Graham in the red zone, which won't be a problem, obviously, moving forward. How about over 750 yards and 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns? I think we'd all be pretty happy with that. Amos Goldberg, fun video suggestion. Nagy and Pace top 5 biggest mistakes. Be kind of fun, like a little Bears Rewind episode. I'll keep that in mind. Appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel. Be on the lookout for more Bears videos. Kelvin Coleman, which rookie makes the biggest impact this season? I'll say Jaquan Brisker. I think he's a rock-solid 17-game starter. I really do. I think he's a great culture guy. He's going to be a leader for this team. So I'll pick Brisker. But I think Kyler Gordon, if he's healthy, should play well. I think Velus Jones Jr. will have a role, and it's possible Braxton Jones is your starting left tackle. And if that's the case, he could have the biggest impact protecting Justin Fields. Matt Nagy's back. If Belichick and McDaniels got nothing out of N'Keal Harry, what makes you think Eberflus and Getsy will? Well, number one, the Patriots actually have a pretty poor history of developing receivers. That's number one. I'm not saying N'Keal Harry is going to come in here and ball out, but sometimes you get these guys, fresh scenery, and they can play better. We'll see. If he can make the team and contribute, it's a good trade because you gave up a future 7th for him, which is basically nothing. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, he's still got number 2 wide receiver potential. I don't necessarily think that. Super chat from ACG. Oh, this is a good one to end on. How was Italy, FGB, and Bear Down? Number one, get the FGBs, the Bear Downs going in the comments. It was good, man. Great trip. 2 weeks across the pond. With all the traveling challenges that have been happening, pretty mild for us. We did have to stay in the Milan airport overnight once. That was an interesting experience. But it was fun, man. Great food, great cities. The people were super nice, so I can't wait to go back. Definitely want to go back sometime. If you follow me on social media, especially on Instagram, but also on Twitter at HGramNFL, same handle on Instagram. I was updating you guys with some posts. Go check that out. It was a good time.